Australian MMA superstar joins Perth event. Says, don't care if he stabbed him about opponent's scary knockout. Why did he say that? What makes him so confident? In this video, I will discuss what Perth has said, and also, it is Makhachev versus Volk showdown. What does Robert Whittaker think most people are missing about them? Let's find it all out in this video. Firstly, what does Pedro worry about the most? Tyson Pedro is due to face a Chinese fighter who is on a roll, having won all 9 of his battles in the first round or going undefeated in that span, and who knocked out his most recent opponent unconscious, and for a considerable amount of time. But what exactly is Pedro most concerned about? The light heavyweight competing in the UFC chuckles and says, my brewery will open during fight camp. And then later that same month, I'll also be traveling to Las Vegas. To become in shape? No, he continues. That's for a beer launch as well. Up next, what is he looking forward to? Only 7 months after completing the most impressive injury comeback in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the 31-year-old Pedro has now been confirmed by UFC officials as the latest fighter to join Alexander Volkanovski and Rob Whittaker on the blockbuster UFC 284 card that will take place in Australia on February 12. In the fight that is scheduled to take place in Perth, Pedro will take against Zhang Mingyang, a Chinese striker who made his way into the UFC with an impressive victory on the road to the Octagon earlier this year. Mingyang, riding a 9-fight win run, earned a tremendous first-round victory over George Tokos. The Chinese fighter knocked out the Englishman with a strong right hand and followed up with 5 more shots while he was on the ground. Pedro admits that he has not seen the highlight reel knockout that knocked Tokos unconscious for a significant time, even though it has been reenacted numerous times. So why has Perth given that statement about his opponent? When asked, do you worry? According to what he said to Fox Sports Australia, I don't care if the guy stabbed his previous opponent. I'm going to watch footage of him in a moment, but not an excessive amount. My experience has shown that if I watch too much footage of my competitors, I begin to overanalyze them. Therefore, I delegate responsibility for matters of such nature to my team. Instead, Pedro will combine a fight camp at his new training facility, which is the well-known City Kickboxing Gym in Auckland, with his other current business, which is the continued success of Drink West Beer. The beer, which is currently sold in 291 different locations, will also formally open its Western Sydney brewery in December. Heavyweight Tai Tuivasa and Penrith Premiership hero Nathan Cleary will support the brewery launch. Up next, are the fighters going to promote UFC partners? Aside from that, Pedro and Tuivasa are slated to appear in the final major fight event of the year, UFC 282, which will take place shortly before Christmas in Las Vegas. Pedro added that they agreed to do a promotion around the event because Drink West had recently become a partner of the UFC. The card in question is scheduled to take place only 1 week after Tuivasa's next bout. 2 winners will receive round-trip airfare to Las Vegas for the fights, dinner with us, and VIP treatment throughout the event. The entire experience will be pretty exciting. I'm afraid I'll have to delegate all drinking to Tai. After that, we head back to the States to start the brewery. After that, I'll make my way back to Auckland to continue my training at CKB during December. Therefore, Christmas won't be a significant holiday for me this year, he stated. In April of this year, Pedro made his long-awaited comeback to the Octagon, ending what was officially the most prolonged absence due to injury in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The native of Sydney has since won 2 matches in a row as part of his impressive comeback tale. He hopes to win 3 victories in a row when participating in a huge summer event down under. So, what Robert Whittaker thinks most people are missing about Volk Makhachev showdown? Whittaker points out something that many people are ignoring concerning Volk Makhachev. Robert Whittaker, who previously held the title of UFC middleweight champion, has pointed out an aspect of Alexander Volkanovski that he believes people are ignoring in anticipation of a fight between Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. At UFC 280, the champion was crowned for the lightweight division, and his name was connected to the throne. In the main event of the pay-per-view broadcast, Makhachev accomplished what he referred to as his destiny by submitting Charles Oliveira to have the gold belt placed around his waist. After the battle, the Russian immediately started thinking about how he would defend his title against the potential challenger standing just a few meters away at the cage side. Following Khabib Nurmagomedov's presentation of the plan for the new champion to defend his title against Volkanovski in Australia in February 2019, the featherweight king stepped into the Octagon to take the fight on. Following his road to the gold and destruction of Du Bronx and Abu Dhabi, many people have stated that Makhachev is set for a lengthy run on top. This is something that has been reflected in opinions toward Volkanovski's hopes against the new 155-pound title holder. In addition to opening as a substantial underdog according to betting odds, just under 10,000 fans supported the Russian in a poll conducted by BT Sports' Chamikar Sandu to determine who should keep their spot. But even though many people believe Makhachev won't have any trouble implementing his smothering wrestling style against Volkanovski, one of the Australian's fellow citizens thinks this won't be the case. Up next, why does Whittaker think that Makhachev will have a tough time? According to Whittaker, Makhachev will have a hard time bringing down Volk. During a previous appearance on Submission Radio, Robert Whittaker highlighted the potential main event for the UFC 284 card that will take place in Perth, Australia. On this card, Whittaker is scheduled to fight Paulo Costa. When the Reaper was asked whether Volkanovski's detractors are underestimating an aspect of his game, he asserted that the well-rounded nature of the featherweight champion's arsenal is being overlooked. This was in response to the question, are Volkanovski's detractors underestimating an area of his game? What a well-rounded individual he is. Volk's skill set's quite a high level. He's a powerful person, Whittaker remarked about the other man. It seems to me that he has a good deal of control over the battle thanks to his striking, and his endurance and stamina are very high. I don't believe Islam will be as simple to bring him down and hold him in that position as everyone else believes it will be. So what's unique about Volkanovski? Volkanovski has been undefeated at 145 pounds since he dethroned Max Holloway in 2019. He has every intention of continuing his ascent to fame by winning a championship in a higher weight class. His self-belief and determination, which he maintains are at an all-time high since he allegedly booked his ticket to a lightweight fight, haven't been influenced in the least by the fact that many people have questioned his capability of overachieving this goal. Up next, why has Makhachev taunted Volkanovski? Islam Makhachev has teased Alexander Volkanovski about the possibility of them fighting for the title the following year, alluding to the fact that the UFC will not sanction the bout. After Makhachev won the UFC lightweight belt by submitting Charles Oliveira a month earlier, Volkanovski entered the Octagon to meet the Russian fighter. Volkanovski was the champion in the featherweight division. Volkanovski has made it abundantly clear that he wants to challenge Makhachev for the lightweight gold next. He reiterated this desire after Makhachev won the lightweight title at UFC 280. Makhachev stated he was open to defending the belt against the Australian in Perth in March. Volkanovski's next fight is scheduled to take place in March. So how has Volkanovski responded to it? Volkanovski, who has won 21 consecutive fights, including 4 defenses of his featherweight title, then took to Twitter on Friday, November 4 to write, "Are you a man of your word?" at Makhachev MMA. Included in the message was an emoji of a hand holding a pen and the phrase, "Let's make it happen." Makhachev, who has won 11 fights in a row, answered, "Don't worry. As soon as I receive the paper, I will sign it." Makhachev has won 11 fights in a row, so have fun with your pound-for-pound #1 slot in the time being, followed by an emoji of a winking face. Lastly, when is Makhachev versus Volkanovski going to be? Makhachev, who is 31 years old, stepped right into the #3 spot after beating Oliveira. In contrast, Volkanovski, who is 34 years old, is currently ranked as the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the UFC. It is anticipated that Makhachev versus Volkanovski will serve as the main event of UFC 284, which will take place on February 12 and mark the UFC's return to Australia for the first time since 2019. In July, Volkanovski won unanimously over Max Holloway, who had previously held the featherweight champion title. This victory marked the 3rd time that the Australian had prevailed over the Hawaiian. And that is all from today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What do you think of Robert Whittaker's comparison of Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski? What do you think? Let us know in the comments box section below, and subscribe to the channel right now to stay updated and entertained. We will meet soon in another exciting video. Till then, take care guys. Goodbye.